I beg you, please. This is not just like, oh, I'm gonna wash my hands with some soap and water. No, thoroughly wash your hands because you're gonna be inserting your fingers with it. Hi guys, welcome back to Adira. My name is Valley and I'm really glad that you guys are back. Today I have a slightly different video than what we had last time. Today I want to actually talk about a product that you might have already heard about. You might have heard it from your friends or maybe social media because it's been really hyped. There's definitely a really good factors about it. I've been using this product for about a year and a half and there are some things that I wish I knew before I bought it. So here are 5 things nobody tells you about the menstrual cup. For those of you that don't know, the menstrual cup is actually a silicone shaped cone for menstruating individuals to collect their period fluid. So it looks something like this. Because this is not a one-time use product like a tampon or a pad, it's definitely more eco-friendly. So there are many advantages to it. It's also very flexible for an easy fold and insertion, and depending on the amount of flow, the amount of your period flow, then you can leave it on for a more extended period of time than you would an actual tampon or a pad. So there are wonderful success stories about the menstrual cup, also because, well, as I mentioned before, it's not only eco-friendly and reusable, it's very convenient and it's not reactive. It's definitely something that we should be talking about a lot more, having a more conscious and more eco-friendly menstruation. But I believe personally that there are some things that people don't tell you, and that is important that you know if you are thinking about purchasing one. Because my relationship with the cup has been a little bit of a love and hate relationship, I wanted to bring this 5 things to you guys, so maybe if you are thinking about purchasing one, you do your research and you take time to transition. So first things first, the number one thing in this list is that it's really uncomfortable the first time you try and insert it. So I did mention that it was flexible and you can fold it in different ways. So depending on the type of cup that you have and also depending on your body, you're gonna have to fold it in various ways so you are able to insert it up. I think it's very important that you look online to see, or even ask the person that is selling it to you how they would recommend inserting it, because it takes a couple of trial and error for it to go up. And then the second thing that goes hand in hand with this is that you need to be well lubricated. Lubrication is key, or else it's gonna burn. For me, it hurts. It just feels really uncomfortable. So what I do is I have to wet it. It has to be like I put water on it for an easy insertion, but if that doesn't work, then you're gonna need a lubricant. So that's one thing. Going again with the same topic about being uncomfortable the first time you use it, or probably the first couple of times that you try and insert it, one size does not fit all. So that's number 2. You need to find your right size. Depending on the brand, some brands do have a one size fits all system. I've seen it mostly on menstrual discs, which are a little bit different than a menstrual cup. They work a little bit different, but it's basically the same system where you have a disc shaped silicone cup that goes inside. Depending on the brand, you're gonna have to know the size of your cup, because all of our bodies are made differently and our cervixes are also different. You're gonna need to know how to measure that. If you don't know how to measure the size of your cervix, at Instagram.com/the Adira app, we actually have a little post on how to measure the size of your cervix. If you don't know, you can also ask the person that's selling the cup to you to tell you what the best way to measure your cervix would be, and that way you'll know the correct size. Also, you have to take into consideration that if you've had children, if you've given birth, the size is going to change as well. So take that into account. If you don't have the correct size, if you have a size too big, you're probably not going to be able to get it inside, or it's going to be really uncomfortable. And if you have a size too small, you'll have a problem where you'll be leaking. So that's really important. to know about the menstrual cup. Going on with number 3, and it's also part of the insertion and also removal process of the cup. It can get really messy. You are dealing with your menstruation, so you might have to get in contact with your blood the first few times if you don't know how to properly take it off or properly insert it or properly handle your cup. You will get in touch with your period blood, which is fine. For me, I think it's totally fine. It's not something you should be ashamed of. So you fold it, it goes up, but you see these 2 fingers, these are gonna go in as well as you try to push it. So take that into consideration. It can get a little bit messy, which it's okay the first few times. It's totally fine. It's part of the process. It's part of learning how to use it properly. But once you get used to it, it's definitely gonna be worth it. Number 4, because I already mentioned that this is a hyped product, there's a lot of brands out there on the market that sell period cups. So you're gonna stumble upon hundreds and hundreds of brands that sells menstrual cups. The best way to choose it, in my personal experience, is to educate yourself properly. If you're well educated and if you've done your research on the menstrual cup, you know exactly what menstrual cup to buy. If you don't know, there are some menstrual cups that are made from latex, and there's a good portion of the population that have latex related allergies. So make sure you purchase a cup that is BPA medical silicone. The other thing is the sizing. I would suggest a brand that has a couple of sizes, just that it adjusts to you properly and you're not having to deal with that one size fits all problem, and then maybe your cervix is too big or too small for that. So that's really important. I cannot stress this enough, guys. Educate yourself about it, because this is not just something it's not just a feminine product. It's a hygiene product, so you need to know how to use it properly to be able to get the best results at it. This coming in as my last 5 point, which is this can actually cause infections. It's not just because it says that it does not cause toxic shock doesn't mean it can't happen. There's been some cases, very few, but people have gotten toxic shock from the cup itself. And then you also have the part where you're inserting, removal to empty, and then inserting again. So you have to have impeccable hygiene, please. I've heard horror stories for me of people trying to disinfect it by putting it in the microwave. No, please don't do that. You don't want to be putting your cup in the microwave where your parents and your siblings or your significant other or your friends or your roommates are heating up their food, and then you're putting your cup inside to disinfect it. No, don't boil it where you boil your water, your eggs, or your soup. Nothing. This should have a place of its own. So for example, in my case, I boil water separately, and I have a container where I put the water and then I put the cup, and that container is for the cup itself. Nothing else goes inside it, only my cup. So please take that in mind. Also, if you don't know, you can pee with your cup on. So there shouldn't be a reason why you have to be emptying it in a public restroom. I really don't recommend that, because public restrooms are full of bacteria, filth, you don't know. So that's another thing. And wash your hands properly. I beg you, please. This is not just like, oh, I'm gonna wash my hands with some soap and water. No, thoroughly wash your hands, because you're gonna be inserting your fingers with it, and then you're gonna have to insert your fingers to take it out as well. So please, this goes hand in hand with educating yourself. If you know enough about how the menstrual cup works, you'll know exactly the things to do to keep you and your cup safe. So those are the 5 things that I wish somebody would have told me when I was buying the cup. Is things that I found out while I was in the process of trying to learn how to use it. And it's why we decided to write a few blog posts about the cup. So if you don't know, we have 2 blog posts at adira.me/blog, where we talk about the menstrual cup. We debunk myths about the menstrual cup, and we have another blog post where we compare different cup brands. So if you don't know, there's also different shapes of cups. It depends on the brand. There's a lot of things that have to do with it. But if you want to learn more, you can go ahead, and I'll link those in the description bar so you can go and read that if that's something that you would like. So yeah, lastly, don't rush it. Don't make a decision just because you feel pressured from society to be more eco-friendly. Definitely, this is something that you should research and educate yourself about, because it's not something that should be taken lightly. Remember, you are inserting this up your vagina, so you want to make sure you know as much about it as you can. So yeah, I've also on the lookout for more eco-friendly hygiene products. I also stumbled upon something called the menstrual sponge. I didn't know that existed until a few weeks ago. I actually wrote a blog about it, talking about the pros and cons of the menstrual sponge. So if you're thinking about eco-friendly menstrual hygiene products, go and take a look at that. Just because it's eco-friendly, just because it's natural, doesn't mean it's good for you. Remember that sea sponges are actually a living thing. So you might want to think about it if you want to go ahead and use it as a menstrual hygiene product. But yeah, just remember, don't rush. Let your body tell you what it needs and do what's right for you. Don't make decisions out of the rush or out of pressure from society. This is your body, and you should be able to take care of it as you will. Remember, guys, to like, share, and subscribe. Follow us on our social media, and also go ahead and read our blog at www.adira.me, where we talk about a lot of things from menstruation to how the female reproductive system works, to also things that you may not see often online because they are just too taboo or maybe inappropriate, but they're really not. And if you don't know, Adira.me is an actual app. We will be launching very soon, so be on the lookout for that, and you can subscribe to be one of the beta testers on our website at www.adira.me. Thank you so much, and see you next time. Bye, guys.